Hello, YouTube.
What's going on, YouTube? It's the Salty Seaman coming back at you again live to tape from a parking lot, parts unknown, Georgia. Here with my tag team partner from back in the day, former Marine Corps Corporal Sergeant.
Corporal Jonathan Smith.
Corporal Jonathan Smith, who was too lazy to go get a sergeant.
Yeah, way too lazy. Corporal's course sounded quite honestly like a load of bullshit. I didn't want to run 3 miles. I didn't want to spend all day in a classroom not doing my job. Instead doing the job of somebody else.
So as you can tell, like when he worked for me, he was a very motivated Marine.
Very motivated.
Wanted to do a lot. So as you can tell, we became good friends. Unfortunately,
of
we
course.
have there was a rank disparity, and in the Navy it probably would have been cool, but the Marines don't play that. I found that out real early going to a Marine base. Got my dick smacked. I tried to hang out with House and dumb kid B. What's his name? Yeah,
You're out there, you know who we're talking about.
Anyways, in the Navy, it's like, hey, they said, hey, come on, stop by for a party, blah, blah, blah. They're doing it in the barracks. I come up there, I'm going to have a couple beers, play one round of fucking cups and shit. But, yeah, I found out President wasn't welcome. Came back to the command, found out, like, hey, Marines don't play that, dude. A6s do not go to the fucking barracks and do that shit. Ever. I'm like, fucking roger that. Okay.
Well, unless they're shitbags. And boy, there are plenty of shitbag E6s.
Oh yeah.
Way more than good. And let's be real, nobody likes if you're a normal person, if you're a normal person or even a little bit of a creative type, like you don't really give a shit about the hard charging types. They're kind of annoying. Like they piss me off. I'll have like a Lance Corporal telling me a corporal like what I should be doing, and I want to turn to them and punch them in the face. It's like, all right, man, be more like Schmuckatelli. Like, go take a nap in your barracks room or something.
Yeah, not that you had a problem with violence or anything, or
no, not at all.
Pissing people off. It was a lot of fun back in the day.
Yeah, it was.
I'm just like, guys, leave me alone. Don't let me make me do any more extra paperwork till I retire. And I was like, hey, so people got in a fight in the barracks. It's like, fuck. So I got to deal with this? They're like, kind of, sort of, you're the ops manager. And I'm like, God damn it.
I have been the one to get into a fight in the barracks. And if you can tell, I'm a few inches shorter than Gabe here.
I'm not tall.
We're not very tall, so you can go ahead and put any ideas to rest that I may have won a fight in the barracks. I got my ass kicked. You remember Schubert?
Of course I remember Schubert.
6 feet tall.
He was a big boy. And he pushed his buttons. He knew which buttons to push, but he's a smart kid. Too smart for his own fucking good.
Schubert, gosh. I should, for the record, Schubert, if you're out there and you're watching these videos, you're a cool person. You're a good person. You beat my ass. It taught me almost nothing. I didn't learn a single thing from it. I'm sorry.
No hugging, no learning. That's our motto over here. But yeah, we're both, like I said, we're both like-minded people. We became friends after the service. From the same state, we're both in the same kind of situation. Creative endeavors post-military. It's like we're lucky. We come from a career field where like that's encouraged. We're friggin' we do this. We were doing this shit. Making commercials, radio, TV, all that fun stuff. You know, before that, I wrote stories. Took pictures. I could be artistic. Let's face it, the job field doesn't have a lot of that. And
yeah, my problem with like being a creative type in the military and doing a creative job is that there are a lot of it's very regimented. We had to have had so many stories by the end of such and such time. And they had to air, and we had to have so many commercials done by a certain amount of time, so many radio products being produced, and so many news products that had to be produced that were, and the deadlines really kill somebody who just wants to lay back and let creativity really get going.
Especially we got put in a situation where we got to put in a position to overproduce because of one jackass in charge. Instead of like we presented to him 100 times, hey, we only got to do 3 stories a week. Let's let these guys have their creativity flow. The way the military works is like, to quote Alice in Chains, there's no pressure besides brilliance, let's say by day 9. In our case, by day tomorrow.
Yes. Typically, I found the deadlines were just kind of insane for some of the ideas we had. We had like, each and every one of us, even the most non-creative people, had ideas for like documentaries. They had ideas for like segments and products that the Marine Corps wouldn't have thought of on its own. Not without like the newer generation.
You mentioned DeFore before as a supremely talented artist.
DeFore is
artist. He's an artist.
Yes.
Shit. And he's out there doing great things in film now. He's fucking, he's the creative type that rose above the regiment. And I've seen a few guys in our career field do that. And we've had people from other career fields come over and say, hey, dude, I want to do this. Like, I have
of
this.
Course. And it's a really fun job. I think, honestly, I'd recommend to anybody, if they were going to go into the military, pick a job like that. Pick a job.
If that's what I mean, some people want to join and fucking turn wrenches. It's like, dude, there's plenty of jobs for that.
And some people want to join being an action hero. And let me tell you, if you join being an action hero, you're going to experience what action heroes experience. They aren't on the camera for all but 2 hours. That's it. You're going to spend 4 years doing nothing but being bored as fuck for maybe a few hours of fun in your job. Sorry, it's the truth. Please stop joining the infantry. Y'all are too young for that. Y'all are too damn young.
My friend has opinions, by the way. So yeah, but a lot of people get out, they do their 4, they do their 6, whatever, and it's like, okay, now...
You guys want an extra pizza?
Yes. Yeah.
We're in a parking lot, by the way. We're gonna cut this. Yeah, we're right next to a Marco's Pizza. They're closing up. Thank you.
Hey, it's no hard feelings from the Marcos that fired me. Yeah.
You store here, apparently. I'm not from Norcross. I'm up in an area of Atlanta I don't usually go to, so.
Yeah,
that's why I said the greatest name of any road ever, Beaver Ruin Road.
Yeah, I've been living off of Beaver Ruin for 2 years now. 2 years.
I had it last night go, man. It went Beaver Ruin, baby. Jesus. We're awful.
We are. Okay. Speaking of awful,
go ahead.
I know you have a story that if you were on a reserve contract, you would probably end up with some naughty paperwork in the mail discharging you. What is that one story that you have?
About naughty paperwork?
No. So that story that would have gotten you kicked out. You know what I'm talking about? That moment where it was like, oh shit, I should be out of the military right now.
I mean, you're talking about like ADD? Like, I even talk about that on my channel.
Oh, okay. I've got a story. So,
we'll edit.
We'll edit it.
We'll fix it in post, as we always say.
So I was in the barracks. I was at Dimfos.
You'd be like, hang off the screen, dude. Have some professionals. There you go.
Some professionalism. So I was at Dimfos, the Defense Information School. That's where you go to get qualified as basically any media specialist in the military. And I remember I met a combat camera guy who is still active duty, serves in Hawaii. Like, if they figure out who this is, I'll be like very surprised. But he and I, like, we hung out a little bit, smoked on the smoke deck because we were like some of the only smokers. And he was like, hey, you know what we should do? I was like, what? He said, we should take some cough medication until we get loopy. And I went, yeah, this is the military. They're probably not cool with me, like, smoking weed or drinking.
Oh, are you just about the absinthe?
No. It was straight up.
No, about for me.
We ended up taking triple C's.
I can tell that story. I can tell that story later, though. Go ahead.
We ended up taking triple C's in the barracks, and for some reason, in my boot green mind, I was thinking, well, I can't smoke weed in the military. I can't, like, get drunk in the barracks at the schoolhouse. So I guess this is just what people do to have a little bit more fun. I get it. Because for me,
It wasn't around when I was a kid, when I was that, 96, 97 on the Blue Ridge. I didn't know, if they were doing it, I didn't know about it. I guess I wasn't cool enough.
I guess not. You aren't part of the cool crowd taking triple C's into barracks.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
So it's
Oh, man.
it's very illegal. Needless to say.
A lot of things in the military are very illegal.
So we were taking promethazine basically, and that's called lean. And we were drinking lean.
Oh, okay. I've heard of lean. Okay.
We were drinking lean in the barracks, and I didn't think there'd be a problem. They were doing it for a while, so they didn't think it'd be a problem. Until they started nodding off, and I was wide awake, being that I'm a paranoid schizophrenic. I don't get much sleep in the first place. I walk out of
After
the
5 years before you got diagnosed, after you got out.
Mm-hmm.
So your military, sometimes your military medical associations work right here.
Yep. If they ask you questions like, "Have you ever been diagnosed with a mental disorder?" and you honestly don't freaking know, what are you gonna say? No. And of course, they don't pick up something like paranoid schizophrenia if you've been living with it for years, and by that point,
If you're not actively talking to demons in your barracks room, yeah.
And I learned how to cope from a kid with paranoid schizophrenia so as to not scare people. When I was a little kid, I'd do very scary stuff, like write poetry that people are like, "Oh, that's demonic. Wow." Draw very disturbing imagery. I had rituals too, so I'd wake up at 6 in the morning to go downstairs, grab the same plastic knife from the sink, cut the same couch chair leg, until one morning I reached up into the sink where the spot where the knife is, and there's a metal one, and I grab onto it like I'm grabbing the plastic knife with childlike iron grip and just cut myself. And that's kind of when I realized, oh, I'm not okay. So
Damn, dude.
A lot of coping, and I managed to join the military and be semi-productive in the military.
When you produced, you were fine.
Mm-hmm.
When you gave a shit, you're definitely competent and smart.
But there were certain times where I would say to people some pretty disturbing things, and I'd get sent to behavioral health. And what behavioral health in the military does isn't much. The clinicians, God bless them, they are wholly unprepared to deal with somebody walking in paranoid schizophrenic who knows how to lie very well. So
And you got to think that Marine base, these are guys looking for PTSD signs from combat. They're not looking for.
they're looking for PTSD
guys
and signs of that.
Right, guys shoot, and you do have PTSD.
I got diagnosed with PTSD, but it turns
not combat related.
Not combat related.
Pre-Marines.
Pre-Marine Corps, and after I got diagnosed with it while I was in the military, the treatment was very minimal. It was very minimal. I got antidepressants. I got a little notation that said I was expressing signs of depression, and that's about it. And then after I got out of the military, about a year after I got out, I started really just breaking down because I didn't have the regime of the military. Wake up at such time to be here at such time to do such and such thing. It was just I'm a normal human being and I just have to wake up.
It's so easy when you have people telling you what to fucking do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's called institutionalization. It's prisoners get the same thing. Obviously, we don't go through the same thing as prisoners do. Different lifestyle. We have obviously way more freedom as much as we bitch about what we don't have. But a lot of the things, those guys, they do 20, they can't piss without someone telling them to go fucking piss. Military, same thing. It's if you're not getting up, you're not getting up, to go do something. You got to get up at 7 because you got to be at muster at 7:30, formation, whatever. A lot of guys start getting lost. Hey, fun stuff going on out here.
So I almost got I should have been kicked out because I leave my room at 3 in the morning after drinking lean, and I go into my room and my roommate's there. And of course I think oh, you can tell your roommate anything, be as cool as possible with it, because because you're living with that person. That's who you wake up to every fucking morning.
You gotta have a level of trust.
Yeah.
Unless you're just doing absolute bullshit.
So I told them I've been drinking promethazine and I'm about to go party. And they were like, oh shit, I should call the squad leader, shouldn't I? And then every platoon leader, squad leader is there at my door. And God bless them. They really were really kind about it. They were like, we're not gonna freaking tell anybody because that makes us look like complete idiots and makes life terrible for everybody. Because they live like they were all under punishment from something that had happened just like that, like a year ago.
They expose you. They expose all of their own incompetencies.
Yeah, and they were just like, we're not gonna tell anybody. But for the next like until you're picked up for class, basically, you're going to be waking up every morning at 5 a.m. to come clean the bathrooms. And I think that lasted for about 2 weeks before they forgot like the entire thing even happened. It was just on to the next tragedy.
Yeah, that's how it is a lot of times. Especially you think about the junior guys when you're in like ACT or A school, training schools, whatnot. Guys with the first bit of freedom out of boot camp. You got guys who come. A lot of these people are coming from trauma from the past. A lot of people in the military.
That's a joke in the military even. They're just like, nobody joins the Marines unless you're fucked up.
Yeah, it's like people say college money, see the world, serve my country. And there's a lot of people who's just like, I got nothing else. I mean, that's been part of the military forever. The military is now a lot more, picky than it was at one point too. And I have a whole, I think I've touched on it before. I want to do a whole thing about, the change of the military culture in terms of, how we deal with people, especially juniors. It definitely changed what I saw from, I came in 95 versus I believe I dealt with guys like this.
Yeah.
But going back to the creativity thing, how many guys did you meet? We worked in creative fields in the military. How many of them were, fucking screw loose?
I mean, I can speak for myself. I can speak for some of the folk I met that have told me their stories that are very similar to mine, and it's a lot. Like it helps to not feel alone, because our field it's kind of small. So you get added. I still to this day get added by public affairs specialists and people doing my job in the military. Of course, I bother a lot of them. But still to this day, I get hit up, and it's just more and more people who are like me. And it seems being creative and putting myself out there and putting my music, my writing, everything out there just kind of attracts a very similar crowd. Like I hang out with a lot of veterans. I hang out with veterans of 20 years of service. I hang out with veterans who got kicked out of boot camp.
Cigarettes.
I've talked to veterans who got kicked out of boot camp. And by the way, if you get kicked out of boot camp and medically retired, you are still a veteran. Stop denigrating veterans. But and it's
at the same time, if you get kicked out in boot camp and claim you're a Navy SEAL, fuck you.
Yeah, that makes you a piece of shit. If you come out and you tell the truth, I got kicked out of boot camp, nobody really cares.
Nobody fucking cares, dude. He's like, it didn't work out for me. I went on, I did other things in my life you should be fucking proud of. But we're going to get on stolen valor bullshit. We're not going to get on people chasing homeless guys through the fucking street and beating up. It's like, why are you wearing those cami pants? Are you really a fucking veteran? I mean,
yeah, I think pop culture media sums it up pretty well. In that it's such a weird thing that I guess at a certain point it's just funny on its own. You don't.
It becomes like its own parody. Yeah,
it's
like
own parody.
Anything goes around the internet with any kind of heated topic for a while, and obviously I'm smack middle in the middle of the stolen valor thing because I got a video of 1.6 million views. People seem to fucking love to this day. And it was just me off the top of my head thinking I've never seen one break down stolen valor in all of its glory on YouTube. I got in at the right time. Video still makes me money, makes me afford this. So, anyhow, We're talking about people creative, people with problems, and so we come from creative fields, media, Intel analysts. They're to a degree, and I'm friend. For weirdly reasons, I end up friends with Intel guys because I think there is a common mentality with media and those guys, and we all have our own fucked up. We have our own fucked up shit too.
That's why the NSA is based at Fort Meade, which is where you and I went to school for.
Yeah, it's like we intermingle there on the ship. Those are my friends. Those are my friends. I was the only MC on my last ship. All my friends were CTs. And before that, even the Blue Ridge when I was a YM, a bunch of my good friends were ISs. And I think it's just creative people tend to find each other. And yeah, you see I've seen dudes who are just I swear to God, they were autistic on everything, but they were the world's greatest video editor, or the world's greatest fucking feature writer, or just the world's greatest photographer, or who was the kid that was on...
In my time...
Who's the kid on After Effects?
Right. In my time...
that kid was a fucking genius. No one else could do After Effects. This kid was a corporal in the Marines. Outdid everyone in that fucking station and the fucking... just about everyone in Japan, but
he's rolling his hand, he's rubbing his hands against the wall, head down. When somebody walks past him, he growls
he showed up. He spent 12 hours on Skype with his girlfriend. Yeah. That whole thing, and he kind of showed up stinky a couple times.
God, we had to get onto it.
I'm I'm in charge of him. I hate being in charge of anybody. It's it was me and him in production, and I had to go tell him to shave one day. I'm man, the Navy guy's telling me to go shave. What the fuck, dude? Please leave right now. Just
go home.
Fix it.
Call your girlfriend. Do what you need to do.
I said, just go back to dude. I'm your boss. I said, go to the Pirks right now for 10 minutes or for 20 minutes to get your shave and don't. And one time he came and stinking. I'm dude, you can't do that.
Yeah, we gave a lot of space for him because he was.
He felt borderline autistic.
Yeah, but he was. So
why am I mentioning his name?
He's the. And he's the first one to tell you also that he is.
He knows he's fucked up.
He's special. But
goddamn, he could get into After Effects and create fucking fonts.
Yeah.
Just sit him in front of the fucking machine. He would just create shit for you.
And Doncho, if you're watching this, you are my best friend. See you in North Carolina, buddy. Oh, I've got a festival in North Carolina next year.
Speaking of creative endeavors, you guys know what I'm doing creatively. You know where I'm going. If I'm trying to be a video editor in Hollywood, Georgia. This guy's on a different creative path. What have you been doing before the Marines, in the Marines, and now?
Prior to the Marine Corps, I was in a metal band based in Marietta, Georgia. And right before we broke up, we sold out our first show. And now, 10 years later, after doing a whole bunch of nothing and then a 4-year vacation, now I'm back making music, metal and punk inspired rap music. And it's been a journey. It's been fun. Just got banned from my first venue, which is heartwarming because I feel like it's a Marine tradition.
It's pretty punk rock too.
It feels like a Marine tradition to get banned from places with alcohol.
Lord.
I started too many fights. They were like, okay, please never come back. And I went, thank you.
But you were always working on music prior. I was like,
of course.
When you were in, was it this, did you feel like you had to be on hold? I remember you coming up and talking to people because you knew I was musically inclined.
Of course.
But I can keep a 4-on-4 beat and I can carry a tune if you give me a big enough bucket, but that's it. I was like, dude, I don't know if I can help you. Because you're already the singer.
Music has always informed me on connections. I can't really... if I see somebody, I can't really go up and talk to them unless I know, what type of music they listen to. And, really dive into it. Pick that up from intelligence. And Gabe here...
he kept playing. How I knew he was cool. He kept playing.
It was at the drive-in.
One Arm Scissor at the drive-in. Every fucking time he was DJing, as his fill song, and I was like, I had to go. So I was like, dude, you can't. That's not. a big enough song for you to keep playing every fucking day you're on the air, but great choice.
Yeah, At the Drive-In's one of those bands where it's like, if you listen to
weird,
music, you've heard them.
Yeah,
because
that song's big. It's like if you heard the song, you know what? I'll play a bit under it for like 2 seconds.
But
avoid copyrights.
Yeah, I am over there just like, yep, this is the last song of the hour. I'm gonna play a song that I like.
And it was also kind of cool because like one of the other DJs, he always played Pearl Jam song when he ended.
Yep.
But that was a little more palatable for the
totality of
the format. We had top 40 progressive hot 40, top 40, I think.
Yeah.
Which basically means top 40, but we throw in some oldies every once in a while. That's all it fucking means.
Yeah. I think that was a lot of fun being a radio DJ.
That was like the best. That really, other than making commercials, like because I was in charge of them, so I was like I could do whatever the fuck I wanted. That was great. I ran over you once.
Yes, you did.
I will, if I can find that video, which I think is still on the same. It's on the same laptop. I will put that commercial in right here. And it was like, and the DJing was like, once you figured out how to flow and talk and not sound like a idiot and read what the stuff you're supposed to read, it was a place you could be creative and have fun. And everyone who wanted to do something creative that came to us, what did 90% of them want to do? Mm-hmm. They wanted to be a DJ.
Yep. I remember I didn't want to be a DJ, and to prove it, I said the F word just on open air. Everybody heard it, and it was a long one too. It was like, fuck.
I must have been on leave. I didn't even hear about that one.
Yeah, you.
I think you came in like you were like when you came in. You were an in-dog.
Yeah, you.
I met you, and then I was gone like 3 weeks.
Yes, you were on leave. Yeah. And I was being.
They didn't even tell me about that. Oh no! I think House told me. I think House did mention it at some point. I was like, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, the new kid cursed on there. Okay, that's funny.
Yeah.
I didn't realize what a thing it was. I didn't even know like it went all that way because.
And they took me off radio for about a year and a half, and just kept me in news and production. They kept me in production at first because they just thought I was the biggest idiot. They're like, you are the biggest idiot. We have no idea what to do with you. And they literally didn't have me do anything. I didn't have to do commercials. I didn't have to program the television. I didn't have to do a single production-related thing. I just had to sit there every day and browse Facebook. That was the funnest I've had in the Marine Corps. I'm not gonna lie.
Also, like a lot of my time when I first got there, I took over from MC1, who they stripped all of his job abilities and.
Yep.
And they stick me in the same job, and
they said you're the ops manager.
Yeah, and I'll
do ops management.
Yeah, but all the job titles that he actually was supposed to do was stripped from him. They never gave them back to me when I came in. So I was like, I was taking musters and collecting, online training and shit. I was like, what the fuck? It's like, this is really my job? I'm like, cool. 3 years to retirement. And everything changes. Not always for the worse, but. Part of it was for the worst. Same guy we worked for. The guy got his comeuppance. That's what matters. Karma is a motherfucker.
You really
leave it
did.
At that.
How's that deployment going, buddy?
How's the deployment going, Clint? But I'll also say, hey, thanks for pushing me into being the production manager. That was the best thing that could have happened to me. So I'm not totally mad about it, bro.
Yeah. And that's a good thing because it was a fun time as production manager, and as like. Being that you were the ops guy, like that was pretty fun too.
Durham was a better fucking ops guy than me, let's be honest.
Production was your strong suit. Just the creativity with the commercials, stuff that I wouldn't have even thought of. I wouldn't have thought of hitting somebody with a car. Like the wildest I thought of was getting David Bickle to imitate an airplane. And then going, no,
that
dude,
fucking spot,
they will
that
totally like this. And he goes, okay, I guess I'll be in it then. And everybody did not like it.
I don't think if there had been some slight effort put into it, I would have let it go because your core idea, not horrible, kind of funny, but it's shot behind the building. It's like you had no mic on anybody. It's the mic is obviously the mic's coming from the camera. It's not, you didn't adjust your lens. It's not lit. The composition's fucked up.
I didn't white balance it at all.
Nothing.
I went, this is an auteur film.
I didn't white balance this either, but I can
use your imagination for this auteur commercial.
It was just like, go reshoot. It was like the idea was sound. It was fine. He did waste a sandwich. Or half a sandwich, was it?
Twice.
And he made it a piece of shit the second time, and then we just fucking dropped it. The one time I come
Move
up
on
with
to
the
the next commercial.
I was like, one time I come up with the idea, I was like, hey guys, we have no thing about like keeping the flight line clean. We should have a spot about it. Spotted, by the way, is a commercial. Overseas, we play American TV, but we don't play the commercials. So we insert locally, which is like on the local level, like right on the base, which we would make.
So our audience was like 10, no, not even 10,000, like less than 10,000 people on the base. So it was a pretty big base for being such a small
the radio had a bigger thing, but yeah, they took, if you have been out of the military for a while, AFN is no longer open air. It's like you have to have a satellite dish on base.
Yep.
But the radio's still open air.
Yep.
But even that, we lost, that audience has gone a lot. That used to be like your only audience, people driving the base. But nowadays, everyone listens to their fucking phone or a podcast.
And now
whatever,
we've kind of transitioned more into Facebook. That's where we publish like the things that need to be seen, like news reports.
Well, we ain't publishing shit.
Well, we ain't public. I don't do a goddamn thing no more. That's the best part about being out of the military. I don't do a goddamn thing.
What's in that thing, by the way?
What's in this?
Chemicals.
There might be some like PCP in there.
Yeah, straight crowd rock. People always ask if I'm hitting a vape. What's in it?
Maybe PCP.
In this case, I'm going to let your imaginations run wild.
We living in Atlanta like criminals. This is the best
thug life. This is basic thugonomics.
Yo, if you're a veteran and you're a creative type, like Atlanta is the place to come. Because we are kind of in Atlanta. I think I can say we're all criminals in Atlanta. Every single one of us. There isn't a single person that isn't a criminal in Atlanta.
I'm originally from Douglasville. I guess I'm a Douglas villain.
Let me tell you about Douglasville. Douglasville, middle of nowhere, fucking Georgia.
Fuck yeah, it is.
But like nice ass houses.
I also lived in Villa Rica.
Villa Rica should be middle of nowhere, Georgia.
Good Lord, should be.
But it's like, man. Somehow like all the rich people flock there and they're like, oh, this is pretty nice.
Well, I mean, the whole reason everyone was out there was like white flight in the fucking 80s. That's how we ended up there. And now there's white flight out of there going to Carrollton and Temple because Villa Rica all of a sudden has too many African Americans. Woo! Why do I know this? Because my aunt told me straight the fuck up.
Atlanta is also a
God bless open
city.
Racism, everybody.
Atlanta is seriously Georgia, Metro Atlanta.
I'm probably going to edit that out, but anyway.
Yeah, Georgia, Metro Atlanta is the best place to be if you're a creative. LA is honestly played out. San Francisco, good luck.
I was just in San Fran. I loved it because like I got to hang out with some friends, and I was there for nothing but hanging out with friends and getting stoned legally, and it was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Like I stayed in East Bay in a fucking hostel just in the fucking zone, man.
You were in a hostel?
Fuck yeah, I was.
Shoot.
You know what picture was outside my hostel? Faith no fucking more.
Okay.
It was a rock and roll hostel, but it was like isn't East Bay. It was like I was 2 blocks from a fucking dispensary. There was almost everywhere, but yeah, it was fucking cool, man. I like San Fran, but.
Why
expensive?
You know, Faith No More, I got no problems with them. But that's not Mike Patton's best word.
Everything is subjective. What do you consider his best word? Tomahawk?
No,
Bungle?
I think Bungle, definitely. Mr. Bungle is some of the wildest and most creative compositions ever.
And the first album was produced by John Zorn.
Yeah, and of course they listen to it and they go, oh, this sounds like a really creepy haunted house. But really, it's one of the first progressive metal albums. Like, Genesis, God bless you, you're fucking dad rock. You're not progressive metal.
I don't think anyone's accused Genesis of being metal.
God bless you, you're dad rock.
I like Genesis.
Please, Genesis fans, stop saying it's prog. It's not prog. It's a dad rock band.
On deployment, these are like to bring it back around. On deployment, these are arguments we have a lot. You never did a deployment, so you know what I'm talking about. Those of us who have.
This is primo downtime, like they tell
But oh
you.
yeah, I was gonna
stand by.
I was gonna tell my absence story. I was at Durham and fucking MC1.
shoot.
What's his name came in?
Brown?
Yeah.
Okay, nobody ever talked about it except for me, and I swear.
Go ahead.
Robert Bull Durham is the craziest motherfucker I have ever
I out
met.
crazied him though. This is the fucking story, dude. The fact that he had to come the next day is like, dude, are you okay? I'm worried about you, and I'm like, from what I've heard about you, that makes me worried. What did I do? So here's the story. Okay, and I felt like shit for this for so long, and it turned out it's not really my fault. Me, Durham, and Brown went out, had an E6 fucking drinking out in town. These two guys I worked with, the Okuni, same as him. We get absinthe, and the absinthe they get in Japan apparently is the real deal. Fucking Rob wants to do it. Brown wants to do it. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm down. What the fuck do I gotta lose? I'm like 4 months from retirement, and yeah, I don't remember a lot after that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I fell in a parking lot. I remember that part, and at that point, my wallet and phone fell out of my hands. Brown and Durham put me in a cab. I could not describe how to get to my house. Cab driver drops me off at some random person's house who I keep trying to get into until the cops show up. Do you not know this story?
No, I've never heard this one.
So the cops get me, and luckily one of them speaks enough English, and I recover just enough to realize this is not my house. This is cops. I'm in fucking trouble. Sobered me up a little bit, but it's like I'm like, how am I so fucking drunk? What did I drink? But I'm like, I know where I live. Like, I think I get KFC. I'm like, I live close to like the KFC in town, and I always tell Kentucky Fried, and they never understand my pronunciation of KFC. They say it's so weird. But eventually I get them. I'm like, okay, keep going, and they're like, oh, just cut. Like, yeah, hi, just keep going. Get to my house, and we wake up my wife because they're not gonna let me just walk in the house. Because they just caught me trying to break into someone else's house. So the cops have to let me in, talk to her. My wife's pissed. I'm like, I lost my phone, lost my wallet. The Japanese police found him the next day, went to the station, picked him up. But for the longest time, I didn't know what happened. I just just felt like the biggest heel. I was like, how did I get so fucking drunk? And then I think Brown reminded me a couple days before I left, is like, yeah, I guess that absinthe really got you that one night. I'm like, oh shit! Because I was like, "There's no way, dude. I've been drinking pretty solidly for a while." I was like, "It was way early in the night too."
Yeah.
But that's what I thought you were talking about earlier. I was like, no. Man, if that shit had got, dude, that was like, and I swear it was 3 months from retirement. That would have been, man.
So, Gabe and I think the time when I realized we were gonna be friends. And the time I realized that you were a cool motherfucker is when we went out to drink. And I went out, I think I was pretty, I wasn't feeling great. I was feeling like a piece of shit. And you and I went out to the bar.
I drug you out, if I recall.
Yeah, you dragged me out of my house because I was acting like a piece of shit. Yep. And I was feeling like a piece of shit.
You were being whiny.
And of course, my favorite hobby in Japan is to drink.
That's all you can do over there.
It's really all you can do in Japan is get
and only that between certain hours.
Yep. So we go to this bar, and it turns out this is where all the salty fucking people go. I mean, real salt dogs.
I remember this story.
So we walk in, and we walk in decently early. We walk in early enough for homeboy Matthew Beeler.
Ebola, what's up, buddy? I'll tag him in the video. I'll put it on Facebook. He's now residing in Vietnam.
Of course.
Former GS3. He was like a GS nothing or something.
Motherfucker.
Poor Matt, man. Matt got fucked over by the system. Like the Navy, the GS system, his first wife, everybody. Fuck this dude. He was just
God bless him.
He was just a lonely alcoholic stuck in Iwakuni. He didn't want to fucking be there.
Yeah.
Asthma like a motherfucker. Like he'd go in these bars where everyone smoked and he would just die, remember?
Yeah, asthma.
Yeah. That's why he got kicked out of the Navy. Like he developed asthma from the pits in Afghanistan. He was a master at arms serving in Afghanistan, or Iraq. It was Iraq, I think. And they had the big fire burn pits and shit. Fucked his lungs up so bad, gave him asthma.
Go figure.
10 years in, E5. Yeah.
And this man, like, wakes up, and he's just laying in a hallway by the bar, like, sleeping. Yeah, sleeping bag and everything. And he wakes
I did
up,
know this story.
And he sits down at the bar next to me.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he gets 1 or 2 beers. And then he passes the fuck out on the bars.
This is the first time you met Matt?
This is the first time. No. I met Matt previously at that bar. Because
I introduced you guys.
I did a reconnaissance.
And what's her name? The gunny came in, the female gunny came in. Fucking.
This is the real.
No.
So,
do you want to tell that part of the story?
My company gunnery sergeant. Listen to this street cleaner over here. My company gunnery sergeant comes out to this salty ass bar. And me, being a spy movie fan is what I'll call it.
Okay.
So my intel homies don't get caught. I had staked this bar out previously, and I knew that's where my company gunny went. I knew that's like.
Give her some background on her. She was kind of new, but she was
kind of new. She came from the drill field, and it kind of showed when I
remember I got stuck in that Master Sergeant retirement ceremony where they stuck a fucking Navy gun in there trying to do marching movements with Marines, and she was in charge of making sure the shit didn't fuck up. Guess what her bigger? It didn't fuck up, but if it was going to fuck up, it was going to be on this guy.
The Navy guy going.
I was at home practicing. I was so glad. Good Lord. Anyways, she was cool people, but she came right out of the fucking drill field. Man.
So there was a period of transition where she was going from like drill instructor taking care of quite literal idiots to drill instructor taking over the guy who got taken in by all the salt dogs. And I went, oh, I'm really gonna fuck with her. Like, I'm going to be that corporal that walks into a bar full of E8s, E9s, E7s, E6s.
The bar wasn't off limits. It's a civilian
contractors. Bar. It's a civilian bar, but that's where they chose to hang out if they were salty. And I walk in that place with the goal in mind of looking like just a danger to society, and to make my gunnery sergeant wholly uncomfortable with the idea of being company gunny. So after I took my shirt off and wrestled the Japanese wrestling fan, I walked up to gunnery sergeant, and at this point, this is when Gabe realized that I am way too insane, and I start going.
I was enjoying it.
I tell gunnery sergeant.
I'm like, Gunny's in the room. I was like, I'm not a fucking fault here.
I tell her, I am a transgender. I am a woman stuck in a man's body. And she knows who I am.
Everyone knows who you are, yeah.
She sends me to the... I stand in the formations with everybody
The biggest guy and the smallest guy, everyone knows because you're the guys that stand out in formation and they ask. Like, who's the tiny guy? It's like, oh, that's fucking Smith, he works at AFN. You know, that's Bubba, he works over at fucking Air Wing. You know, the big 6'10" guy that just like,
yes,
can barely fucking write his name.
And for some reason, you know, being at AFN, we're a detachment, so we have to report to the company very often.
Yeah.
She's seen my name.
I had like 4 dotted lines, remember?
Yep. She's been able to see my face and my name right here. And I think I freaked her out pretty bad, because at that point, you were dragging me like, come on, let's go. And she was not saying a damn thing. She was quiet over her drink, and when she walked in there, she was a real chatty Kathy.
She gave me a big old hug, though.
She did give you a big old hug, and she wasn't very ugly, let's just say that.
She's a nice looking gal. This is my personal preference. I like a girl who's got a little toughness in her. I don't know about you.
coming into style now.
Yeah, whatever works for people, man.
I've been browsing Pornhub. I've been seeing it. Grandmas,
well, Pornhub has announced for every 100 clicks, they're planting a tree.
Go watch porn.
Do your part
in the barracks. Don't take triple C's. Go watch porn.
Do your part for America, people.
Jack off in the bathroom.
Jack off to Pornhub. You might be that 100th click that plants that tree that saves that bird.
All right, but the technique for jerking off in the bathroom, you kind of got to aim your cock down at the water so as to not come all over the seat or on your roommate's nice rug. It'll make them really upset if they have cum on their rug. That's all I got, Gabe.
All right, now 20 minutes till the live stream, so yeah, let's wrap it up.
Okay.
So back to, I mean, we've been all over the place, but I figure we would, especially the more beer we drink and the more we start talking sea stories.
Oh shoot, this live stream's gonna be fun. If you're missing the live stream tonight, I feel bad. Like honestly, I feel bad. You're missing out.
You can, but I mean, you can rewatch. It's gonna be on it. You just can't chat with us.
You can't chat, and isn't that half the fun? Don't you wish you could be the one asking questions when you see a live feed back? Because one, people always ask the questions that you go, that's too dumb to ask. I would have never asked that.
There's always some dummy who's gonna ask like the dumbest thing in the world. Yeah. No, my live streams are fun, but it's like, you make it less awkward because we can sit here and chat until people actually get in there. Because sometimes I'll sit in there like, sometimes there will be at least someone there to talk to. Sometimes I'm like, yep. So the topic is blah blah blah. Yep.
Yeah. I don't watch your live chats, but I just watch. Okay.
It really is a moment where you had to be there.
I watched a few, and just so people get clarifications on this poll, I watched the last military movie bullshit. You know what my real problem is?
Bumblebee?
You ain't talking about military movies. I saw the Bumblebee one, and I went, you're really talking about John Cena in a Transformers movie? Like, come on. You think Universal is gonna give a fuck about like getting accuracy with the military? Universal?
See, I hate when people say like you think it's gonna be accurate. I'm about to do Arrested Development with Buster, who is the most inaccurate army fucking soldier of all time.
Okay.
Why? Because it's fun. And all the people who complain that like it's just a movie, shut the fuck up. Go watch something else. I am having fun with it. Usually, I love Down Periscope is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I fucking ripped it apart because it's fun. I do the same thing the Arrested Development.
But I think people with the same complaints as me can't actually complain about, because now at this point you've done all the military movies. Like, what is there left to do?
Few Good Men's one of the ones I have coming up. I got to do.
Oh,
but yeah, I have expanded. I'm just sitting there, big cinema sins, pointing out mistakes. I give my critique.
Have fun with a few good men. Have fun with a few good men. That one's a doozy.
I've been putting it off for fucking ever, man. So anyway, let's wrap this back to a conclusion. I can edit at some point. Create it. So as you see, like, military relationships are tough. Hanging out and like. People's careers go different ways. Sometimes you crisscross back into each other and it's all cool. Especially when you get stuck being like, I want to be that guy's friend, but I can't. But now I can. So it's cool. Creativity is like, we touched on it and I said, I think the best thing we say, it's tough to do when you're in the military. It's like, you got to put that extra work in. You talked about music. I know a lot of guys that did music in the military and like they had to go out and, put a lot of time into it because even if you're working in a creative field like us, it's like it's so regimented. It's so like kick this shit out here, here, and here. Sometimes you're creative. Sometimes you're fucking hitting the goddamn thing. And I think I'm out of steam. I think we talked about everything we're going to talk about. I can't wait to edit this and figure out how to make this work.
This is going to be fun.
If the sound's even fucking usable, we'll see.
This may be like have our AFN experience. Go shoot for an entire day. Wow, only 2 minutes of usable footage. Thanks!
The P card was out of fucking the slot the entire time. It said it was recording. It actually wasn't because it wasn't pushed in the right way.
My P2 card.
My P2 card. Who was it? I think it was DeFore came back like his P4 card was like off and like it didn't record shit.
D2's P4 card. D2 P4.
D4 P2. And he thought I was broken. And like everyone around was like, no, your card works fine. He's like, I was recording, I swear. And I think it was like Suarez knew what happened because he knew those machines were all over, right?
Oh yes.
And so, and like he tells me, and I'm like, what are you gonna tell him? It's like 450. All day, and we just keep giving him shit. It's like, man, like don't forget next time to record when you go out for a fucking thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a little fun. Anyways, that's all the Salty Seaman's got for you. Tell me your stage name, what you got going on, my friend.
Hi, I'm Atlanta rapper Void. If you want to listen to my music right now, the only time you can hear it is listening to it live. You can catch me at the bakery. You can catch me at the East Arcanum. You can catch me at 529. you can catch me at the Masquerade someday. I don't know when, but the next time you can catch me is at the September open mic, Kite High House events hosted at East Arcanum Studios. It's gonna be a great time. Come on out.
And I'll put links to a couple of his videos that are
Down
on YouTube.
there. Ooh.
Down there.
Yes.
That's all the Salty Seaman's got for now. I love you, freaks. Peace, bitches.
Peace.